Please subscribe.
Of the V8 setup with 5.0 liters of cylinder-cleared region, it's the pulsating heart that powers the scope of execution reproduced Lexus models, including the brand's high-style LC500. Resembling an idea vehicle culled directly off a car expo turntable, this sultry roadster is an amazing bit of car configuration work with more dramatization than a live exhibition of Shakespeare's Hamlet with Patrick Stewart playing the eponymous lead. This normally suction motor fires up with energy, conveying an amazing if not spectacular 471 strength all the while. Torque times in a 2 pound-feet short of 400. These figures are all that anyone could need to take care of business. However, for example, the positively progressively workaday Ford Mustang Bullitt conveys 480 horses and 420 pounds-feet of curve from a similar removal, chamber tally and enlistment group. Maybe specialists could have pushed for only somewhat more in the LC500. All things considered, Lexus powerplant consummately epitomizes the V8 breed. It's extraordinarily smooth running, zippy and symphonic for sure, giving the driver 7,300 revolutions per minute to play with. Its high, 12.3:1 pressure proportion improves effectiveness, as does the incorporation of both port and direct infusion. Having two particular fuel conveyance frameworks enables the motor to work unobtrusively and effectively in an expansive scope of conditions. Another cunning, productivity-reinforcing stunt, this V8 can run on either the customary auto cycle for most extreme execution or it can flawlessly change to the Atkinson cycle during lighter burdens for decreased utilization. The LC500 is appraised at 16 miles for every gallon in city driving and 25 miles per gallon on the roadway. Joined, it ought to have the option to travel 19 miles on a gallon of oil distillates. These figures are somewhat empowered by a brisk moving, if not exactly superbly refined 10-speed program transmission. Extravagance and execution are quite often contradictory to proficiency. However, on the off chance that you need a progressively dependable rendition of this vehicle, Lexus offers the LC500 Hours, which is basically something very similar with the hybridized powertrain worked around a V6 motor. As per the US EPA, the LC500 Hours should average 30 miles per gallon consolidated, however it doesn't have V chambers of anger and it's burdened with a fairly wonky transmission course of action. With respect to execution, as indicated by the automaker, the V8-controlled LC500 can hit 60 miles per hour in as meager as 4.4 seconds. Its top speed is electronically constrained to 168 miles per hour. LC models depend on the L stage, an establishment they share with the LS. Because of a melange of extravagant materials including high-quality steel, aluminum and carbon fiber fortified plastic, that is CFRP for short, this roadster as far as anyone knows has the stiffest unibody structure at any point made by Lexus, one that is more impervious to bending powers than even the brand's incredible LFA Supercom, which was made to a great extent of carbon fiber and implicit incredibly low volume. Holding mass under tight restraints and giving close to 50-50 weight dispersion, the LC500's hood, front bumpers and entryway skins are made of aluminum. Its drivetrain is likewise mounted rearward of the front pivot center line to additionally improve balance. The inward supports for the storage compartment cover and entryways are manufactured of sheet-formed CFRP. Alongside things like Alcantara-cut seats, dynamic back wheel directing and a deployable spoiler, the accessible $5,960 performance package tosses a carbon fiber rooftop in with the general mishmash. This gives a colorful look and likely a little decrease in weight. The chromed moldings that run along the edges of this board are intended to resemble the cutting edge of a samurai sword. From center point to center, the LC500's wheelbase estimates 113 inches. While its general length is 187.4. Among its central rivals, this vehicle is marginally littler than a Mercedes-Benz S-Class coupe, however bigger than an Aston Martin Vantage. one adversary that is generally a similar size as BMW's driver-centered 8 Series. With all that mechanical details off the beaten path, we should go to a portion of the LC500's increasingly passionate components. At almost any point, this vehicle connects and catches your eye. From its monstrous shout grille filled in with a bushel weave surface to the cut-like daytime running lights underneath its triple-component headlights, from my test vehicle's 21-inch, manufactured aluminum wheels, a $2,650 choice, to max-engine propulsion-propelled tail lights, there's nothing close-lipped regarding the LC500's looks. Emotional it might be, there's a lot of going on with this vehicle, my preferences are emphatically increasingly controlled. Holding pace with the secured-down Germans, white, 2 or 3 shades of both silver and dark, just as dark are all on the outside paint palette, however Lexus additionally offers some out-and-out abundant tints. A brilliant red is accessible, likewise for one called Flare Yellow, the shading my test vehicle was showered. Both of these adds $595 to the retail cost. Seeming as though it was covered in nuclear hollandaise sauce, this paint makes an effectively difficult-to-miss vehicle much all the more capturing. Furthermore, since this bit of moving figure is a Toyota on a fundamental level, it's for all intents and purposes destined to be as solid as a metal forger's blacksmith's iron. Japanese scrupulousness flourishes, from the bodyboard holes that are more slender than a mechanic's scale to the ideal sewing inside to the immaculate paintwork, nothing is strange or indiscriminately collected. Superior craftsmanship is actually what you'd anticipate from Lexus. One thing that may amaze you about the LC500 is its cunning inside. For the most part referred to for being about as moderate as the Alabama State Assembly, Lexus originators were apparently set free when making this current machine's lodge. Soup to nuts, it's much prettier than the vehicle's outside. The dashboard has an outwardly fascinating layered design and the instruments are housed in kind of a nacelle-like unit. Buttercream delicate cowhide, and softened cowhide trim proliferate. Architects even went over the edge making the guiding wheel, modifying its cross-sectional shape at various points around the edge's perimeter to all the more likely suit different hand positions. Discussion about fanatical scrupulousness. The LC500's front pail seats are strong and agreeable, with the driver's seat control changing in 8 unique ways when you spring for the performance package. There is a secondary lounge, however in name as it were. It's so outlandishly tight I didn't endeavor climbing back there. Extremely, the only thing that is in any way important are the 2 front basins, all things considered. You don't purchase a 6-figure costly extravagance car to pull the children to class each day. Another territory of this vehicle that is disappointingly low on space is the storage compartment. At simply 5.4 cubic feet, its payload hold is infinitesimal. The hybrid model's boot is much littler at simply 4.73 d squares. Similarly, the LC has a lack of inside capacity. The little glove box is for the most part filled by its Bible-thick proprietor's manual. There's additionally a restricted measure of room in the inside receptacle and only one cup holder, Another inside protest focuses on the visors. When rotated to the side, they don't reach out to cover all the window glass. Taller drivers, with the seat moved more remote back, get blinded by the sun when it's sparkling in from the side. Hey now, folks. Spend the extra $12 on expanding visors, the benevolent that comes standard on something like a base Honda Civic. The LC500's inside is snazzy and perfectly made, however it has a couple of defects, the most huge of which I haven't referenced at this point. Yet, presently is as great a period as any to discuss this current vehicle's arrangement breaking flaw. I won't beat around the bush. The infotainment framework is a scornful bit of work. From general ease of use to the interface configuration, it's basically horrendous. Indeed, the 10.3-inch, high-goal show is fresh and mounted in a simple to-see area, yet everything else about it is a train wreck, similar to a train that happened to convey cars loaded with radioactive waste that got flung into a significant city's water supply. Truly, that's sort of awful. This current framework's design and menu structure are confounded, yet aggravating things even. You need to utilize a PC-style touchpad to collaborate with about everything. A portion of the atmosphere controls and basic radio capacities do have equipment catches, however for almost everything else you have to jab at the touchboard. Truly, a direction line interface would most likely be less diverting to utilize while driving. Thank heavens Apple CarPlay is upheld. It gives something that is commonplace and easy to comprehend. In case you're Google aficionado, I have terrible news. Android Auto isn't at present offered, and the organization has no designs to, either. Siri, Alexa Mix, Spotify, Audible and different administrations are upheld. Giving significantly greater usefulness, the Lexus Inform Maps Suite 2.0 gives drivers access to things like NPR One, iHeartRadio, Slacker and Yelp. Concerning well-being hardware, each LC is fitted with programmed high bars, versatile voyage control, path-keeping help and a lot of other propelled driver helps. Things like a head-up show, constraint slip differential and stopping help are largely discretionary. Since I began this audit off with a profound plunge into the LC500's powertrain, you've presumably gotten it's entirely great. That 5.0-liter V8 is a showstopper of building, smooth, incredible and an oral enjoyment, particularly when the dynamic fumes framework is uncorked. Tip into the throttle, which is annoyingly delicate in the ordinary driving mode, and at around 3,500 revolutions per minute the motor wakes up, radiating a throaty thunder that will send shudders up the spine of anybody with fuel coursing through their circulatory framework. No, this Lexus isn't rocket ship snappy, yet it gives abundant push. Truth be told, the vehicle is so refined and created, it generally feels like you're going about a large portion of the speed you really are. It's unnervingly simple to travel 55 miles per hour in a 35 zone and not understand it. The standard 10-speed programmed transmission swaps proportions with the instantaneousness of a double grip unit, however,